Hey G-Squad, welcome back to the episode of Is It Worth It? Today's episode we got this cool thing here, and basically what these are is some power bank from the Anker brand. So for both of these right here is the newest one from the Anker brand, which is under the Anker Prime series. If you can see the way how they designed both of these, it looks pretty much exactly the same when you guys do look at it from the front. But when you guys do look at the top part right here, it is slightly different in terms of what you guys do get. So for this one right here, they only provide guys 2 USB-C option, and for this one right here, provide guys 2 USB-C option and 1 USB option. And when you guys do compare the power for both of these, it is different. This one here provides guys 2000 mAh, this one provides guys 12,000 mAh. And in terms of the power when you guys use it, and then in terms of the power when you guys do use both of these, this one right here can give you guys up to 200 watts of power, and this one can only give you guys 130. So if I do plug in 2 cables at the same time, you guys can give you guys a maximum of 65 watts and 65 watts for a total of 130. But for this one, if you guys want to plug in like 2 laptops at the same time, it can give you guys up to 200 watts of power for both of them combined. But the max for each one individually is 100 watts for this one, and this is 65. And that also applies for input. The input option is 100 watts for this one max, and this one is 65 watts max. And if you guys turn on the side right here, they do have the button for the use, so that way you can turn on the display. And when you guys look at the size difference for both of them, you can see how this one's way smaller, and this one a little bit more bulkier, because the power that's on here provides you guys a lot more. But for the button that's on here, when you guys do press on it, it does turn on the display for both of them. So for the first one for both of them, it does show you guys the battery percentage on here when you guys do use it. And when you guys do plug in cable, it'll show you guys more information in a second. So I'll show you guys what it looks like when you guys do charge something on here in a bit. But if you guys do press on again, this is what it shows you guys on here. So it does show you guys the battery health on here and show you guys the battery cycle when you guys do use it. And also show you the temperature when you guys use it as well. If you guys press on again, it gives you guys the option to turn on the auto screen time off option. So it will help you guys turn off the screen automatically. If you guys want to change it on here, feel free to do so. There's a 30 second, 1 minute, 5 minute, and 30 minute. If you guys press it again, it gives you guys the option for you guys to increase or lower the brightness level on here for the screen when you guys do use it. Press it one more time. It goes back to the main page. So very cool how that gives you guys a smart display on here to show you guys the speed of the power that's being generated when you guys do use it. And when you guys do look at the bottom for both of them, they do have the wireless charging option for use, which is pretty awesome. So for the wireless charging base, it's actually sold separately, and I do have it. And I'll show you guys what it looks like in a second. So for this one, when you guys use the wireless charging base, it can give you guys up to 100 watts speed when you guys use it for the input option. And for this one, the max would be 65 watts. And then here's what the product looks like in the back. And then here is the design. So you can see the design of this product definitely looks very nice. It also looks very like futuristic when you guys do look at both of these. And for both of these products, it does have the Power IQ technology when you guys do use it. So for both of them, it does provide you guys the Power IQ 3 technology. And I believe it gives you guys the Active Shield technology. So that way, if you guys do leave it charging overnight, it should be fine, because it will have that built-in protection for the overcharge protection, over voltage protection, and the list goes on. And the way how they make the power bank so unique and so small and compact is because it does have the GaN Prime technology in here that allows it to be much smaller than your typical power bank and give you guys a fast charging speed at the same time, which is pretty cool. So now that we show you guys what it looks like for each one of them and what's actually included when you guys do use it, now let's give it a try to charge both of them using the cable directly to show you guys how it does work. So we're gonna try this one here first. So we're gonna do plug in cable in. So once you guys do plug in cable, you can see how it starts charging. So you can see how the number is slowly going up. And I love the fact that how it does show you guys the battery percentage on here and the remaining time that it takes to fully charge it. And here I show you guys the watts that's being provided when you guys do use it. So right now it's providing around 64 watts when you guys are recharging product. So it does get very close to the 65 watts, just what they mentioned. Now I'm actually unplug it and try the other one. So if you guys do plug it in for this one, you can see how I show you guys the same display on here. So I show you guys the battery percentage, the time left, and how much power that's being provided when you guys do use it. So right now it's providing around 91 watts or 92 watts, but the number on here does fluctuate when you guys do use it. It will get very close to 100 watts or maybe 100 watts when you guys do use it, depending on the battery percentage on here. So if your battery percentage on here is pretty low, like 10% or 0%, it'll probably charge much faster than when you guys are 80%. So keep that in mind. The other thing that I do want to mention is that when you guys do have the cable plugged in while charging the input option, you do not have the option to charge another device at the same time. You guys will have to unplug it first. Maybe if you guys do use a wire charging option, it might work, but I'm not sure. We'll test that out in a second. So you can see for the input option, it definitely provides a lot of power when you guys do use it, just like what they mentioned, for 65 watts and very close to 100 watts when you guys do use it. What I'll do right now before I show you guys the output option in terms of how much power it does provide when you guys do use it, One right now is to show you guys the wireless charging base. So that way, if you guys are interested, you can feel free to check it out. So right here, we do have the wireless charging base, and get separately, that's not included. It is also from the Anker brand. This part right here is where you can stick it on because it is magnetic. The slot right here, we do have 2 USB-C option and 1 USB option for you to use all at the same time if you guys want to. So for this charging base, it allows you guys to get up to 4 devices to charge at the same time if you guys want to. But the max power on here is 100 watts. So if you guys do plug in 4 devices at the same time, the power that's on here will spread out. But if you guys only use one of them at a time, so like one USB-C only, or just one of them at a time for this wireless charging option on here, it can give you guys a maximum of 100 watts for the single option. Top out right here is where you guys can plug in cable that's included for you guys to actually power on the device. In the bottom part right here, they do have like the non-slip material to prevent it from moving around when you guys do use it. And the front part right here is a display screen that should light up when you guys do use it. And that's pretty much everything that's on the product. Now let's give it a try to show you guys what actually works when you guys do use it. So let's try the small one first. All you guys need to do is put it on top, and it does have a really strong magnet to hold it in place. And in the middle right here, you can see a circle that pops on when you guys do use it. And right here, it does show you guys that charging. So the power that's being provided for you guys right here right now is around 62 watts, similar to what you guys saw earlier when you guys do plug in cable. You can see right there. So the product definitely does work to give you guys a fast charging speed when you guys do use it. For this one in particular, it can go up to 65 watts if you guys use a wireless charging option on here. Now I'll show you the other one. So same thing for this one, stick it on, turns on the light, and it shows you guys that's charging. So you probably have to wait a little bit first in order for you to see the fast charging speed when you guys do use it. So when I do look at it right now, it's providing around 93 watts when you guys do use it. So it does get very close to the 100 watts on here, but doesn't go all the way up. It might go as high as 100 watts when you guys do use it later on, when you guys are leaving it on for a longer period of time. But as of right now, that is how much power it does provide when you guys do use it. So it definitely does work. What I'm doing right now is to plug in another cable on here to see when it actually charges another device at the same time when you guys are charging the actual device using the wire charging base. Alright, so right here I do have the Apple cable, and it's currently connected onto my MacBook Pro. So if I do plug it in, once you guys plug it in, if you see how it does pop up an error message, it would not allow you guys to charge the product while you guys are using it on the base. So you do have to actually unplug it from the wireless charging base in order for you to use it. So the same thing will apply to the other one as well. But when see how when you guys do use the charging base, it definitely does work. So feel free to get one of these and just put it on top where you guys need to charge it. That way you guys don't have to worry about plugging cable directly to recharge it, which is really convenient. Now let's give it a try for both of them to show you guys how much power it does provide when you guys do use it. So for this test, I'm going to use 2 laptops. One is MacBook Pro 16-inch and the other one is MacBook Air. I'm going to plug in the MacBook Pro first, which is right here. So I'm going to get something running in the background first, so that we can kind of drain the battery, and also it works a lot better to give you guys the full potential of how fast the speed on here for the power. So I'm just running a few videos in the background. So currently the battery percentage is around 30%, so it should be fine. So let's try this one here first. Once you guys plug it in, you can see how it starts charging. So I show you guys how much power that's being provided when you guys do use it on here. So this one providing around 63 watts and go as high as 65 watts when you guys do use it. Now let's plug in another cable to show you guys what happens when you guys use it. And we'll do the same thing for the other one, which is MacBook Air, to run something in the background as well. So I'm gonna turn it on. Let's run a few videos in the background. Now we can kind of drag the battery on here to really give the full extent of the battery charging option. All right, looks good. So I'm gonna put the laptop over here on this side, and I'm gonna use the cable that's included for the power bank when you guys do purchase it, which is a 140 watts compatible cable. So one side will plug in the laptop, other side will plug it here. Once you guys do plug it in, you can see how it does show you guys are charging both of them. So there's one for the MacBook Pro and one for MacBook Air when you guys do look right here. And you can see how it does provide you guys a lot of power when you guys do use it. So currently it's providing around 63 watts for both of them when you guys do use it. And the power is being spread between both of them when you guys do use it. But I definitely love the fact that how I show you guys the remaining time on here and the battery percentage on here for the device. That way you know how much battery is left on here when you guys do use it, and also how much power that's being generated onto your laptop when you guys are charging it as well, which is pretty cool. So it definitely does provide you guys a lot of power when you guys use it. Now let's do the same thing for the other one to show you guys how much power for that one as well. So unplug this one and we'll plug it in here. Once you guys plug it in, you can see how it does work, and it show you guys how much power it does provide on here as well. So right now for this one, providing around 95 watts when you guys do use it. So that's definitely a lot of power when you guys use this product. But same thing on here is show you guys how much power that's being provided, show you guys the battery percentage, and show you guys the remainder time. Now let's plug in the other cable to show you guys how it does work when you guys use 2 at the same time. So we have to plug it in. Once you guys plug it in, you can see how much power it does provide when you guys do use it. So when you do look at the numbers, you can see how the numbers slowly going up. So currently it's providing around 95 watts for your MacBook Pro, and it's going as high as 65 watts when I do plug it in for the MacBook Air. The number you guys want to see, but it does go as high as 95 watt and 65 watt when I do look at the number. So for this one, it definitely will go up to like very close to 100 watts for both of them when you guys do use it, since the maximum is 200 watts. But because right now I do have a MacBook Air, the highest I can go is 65 watts. So if I have like two MacBook Pro, I can feel free to go up to 100 watts for both of them, which is really cool. So for the product, it definitely does work for this one and the other one as well. And I do want to mention for this one, when you guys do use it, for the output option, when you guys use it, it tells you guys on here how it actually works as an input and output, and this one only works as an output. So you can feel free to plug in either one of the cable to plug into your charging base or any USB-C wall charger to give you guys that fast charging speed of 100 watts when you guys do use it, which is very cool. But that's pretty much everything that's on the product. Now that we show you guys what's included for both of them and also the charging base as well, now to answer the question of whether or not it's worth it or not and which one the better option go for. So you can see when you guys do test out both of these, both of them definitely does work for what you guys do get. Obviously, one of them only give you guys a maximum of 65 watts when you guys do use it for a single port, and the other one probably guys a maximum of 100 watts when you guys do use it, but allow you guys to charge 200 watts maximum if you guys do plug into it at the same time. So when you guys compare the difference on here, you can definitely see that this one provides you guys a lot more power and works a lot better when you guys do use it for the power that's being provided, and this one probably has less. But when you guys compare the size, this one's a lot more smaller and this one's a lot bigger when you guys do use it. So regardless of which one you do pick, both of them are actually pretty worth it for what you guys do get. It really just depends on what you guys are trying to look for. Whether if you guys want like a bigger power bank that's slightly bigger, that give you guys a lot more power in terms of 100 watts for each output, or if you guys want something that's smaller but probably guys less power in terms of 65 watts and 65 watts, and also give you guys less battery on here in terms of 12,000 watts versus 2,000 watts. That's how you have to determine which one to get. As right now, if I had to compare both of these in terms of which one I do prefer for my daily usage, I would have to say that this one's a lot more worth it since I do have a MacBook Pro. I want something that gives me a lot more power in terms of like 140 watts or like 100 watts. They do have another version that I don't have yet at the moment. I'll probably review that when I do get my hand on that. At the moment, that product is sold out and they don't have it until October, November. So whenever that's available, I'll get one of those to review for you guys. But for both of these, when you guys do compare it, this one's a lot more powerful. So in my case, I would have to say that this one's actually a lot more worth it. But you guys can't go wrong with either one of these because both of them are actually pretty good and a lot better than a lot of other power bank out there in the market today. But then obviously with those guys who don't want or don't need one or have one of these, they obviously don't buy one and save them on something else actually do need. So that's basically everything for this video itself. If you guys like this video, make sure to smash that like button in the bottom. That will definitely help this video out and it'll definitely help with the algorithm as well to promote more videos for you guys so you guys can see more of the videos or similar videos as well. But as always, make sure to stay positive, be you, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of Is It Worth It? Peace.